This is the Redefining Wealth podcast with Patrice Washington. In today's episode, I sit down with Lyn Talbert. She's the mega producer that proves you can be multi-passionate and successful. Hey there, this is Patrice from patricewashington.com, where we chase purpose, not money. Welcome back to another episode of Redefining Wealth. Let me tell you, I am so pumped today because I just checked iTunes and guess what? We are over 100 reviews. Super excited. When I started the podcast just not even 11 weeks ago, maybe, started the podcast and realized that people were having such issues with trying to leave reviews. I was like, oh my gosh, it's hard to leave reviews. It's not as easy on your iPhone and all this stuff, or however people are listening. And to fast forward and be here, over 100 reviews. Like at the time that I'm recording, we have, I think, 101 5 or 4 star, like 5 and 4 star reviews. So thank you. To those of you who are new to Redefining Wealth, that should be an indication that you should go ahead and subscribe, because this is the place to be. We aren't your typical personal finance show, but I promise you, if you take in the insights that I share each week and really absorb the interviews that I have with some just really amazing people who have not let their money define everything. And I know it's weird for a personal finance person to be saying that, but here at Redefining Wealth, I really believe that wealth is more about well-being. And you're going to hear in this interview that's coming up from someone who's super successful. I'm not even going to try to butcher it. I want to read her bio and give her justice, but I just love when I get to meet people and interact with people who are the complete opposite of some of the negative things that folks think about wealthy people. And I know I'm not the only one. You have heard at some point, wealthy or rich or successful people, they do it off the backs of, the less fortunate, or it's by taking advantage of people or climbing on top of folks, and not trying to let other people get forward and all that. And I'm just so blessed that I get to experience a totally different perspective. And those are the folks that I invite here to Redefining Wealth for you, because most of our guests are people that I have been able to meet in person. And I can honestly say that it is the exact opposite of some of the less desirable traits or characteristics that, we talk about the rich people or successful people or wealthy people or whatever. And I think it's really important that we kind of bust that myth for one reason in particular. And that's because I really believe that if you deep down have this idea that all wealthy people scam and thieve and take advantage of everyone else, that it's going to prevent you from creating wealth. Because if in the back of your mind you believe that to be true, then you're going to do things that continue to sabotage your ability to have financial success. And it can be very subtle, but it happens. And so that's why I love what I get to do. I love bringing all of these folks before you who just have just the best spirits and are so committed to building mutually beneficial relationships and treating people well and doing good work and honoring their purpose. And what I love is this week in particular, over at patricewashington.com, the video that I uploaded this week was about how I found my purpose. And one of the things that I shared was that purpose is evolving. What I thought my purpose was 5 years ago is not what I would say it is today. At the core, it might be similar, but it's just evolved. And what I loved about Lyn and interviewing her, and when I first got her bio, I was like, oh my gosh, is that she's multi-passionate. And I think for many of you who may be multi-passionate entrepreneurs, and all the advice you hear is do one thing, stick to one thing, I think hearing someone like Lyn and seeing how she's been able to thrive over a couple decades, honestly, in what she's doing will really inspire and encourage you. So I don't want to talk forever because you know that I can. You know that I will. No, I don't want to talk forever. So what I'll do is go ahead and read Lyn's bio. So again, if you are multi-passionate, this is for you. If you are in a space where you feel like, my purpose is really evolving here. And then there's just so many other great nuggets. Let me get out of the way. Let me just introduce the conversation and take it away, and then I'll be back at the end, okay? So Lyn Talbert has likely accomplished more in 10 years than many of us might accomplish in a lifetime. This girl is off the chain. She was the pioneer of film to plays airing on television. So think back, 2008. Fabric of a Man, the number one rated movie on the BET network. It boasted 1.5 market share. And soon, the Talbert brand became a retail and broadcast powerhouse with the release of 10 more DVDs, 8 being broadcast globally. She catapulted herself to the forefront of a theater revolution by filming and producing the first ever live theater production called Mr. Right Now, which became the first ever live stage play available in retail. So the success of her groundbreaking work is what became the cornerstone of the global branding of her writer-director husband, David Talbert, my boy, and his contemporaries like actor, producer, filmmaker Tyler Perry. Isn't it good to know a woman was behind this whole genre thing? Lyn served as the executive producer of the Fox Searchlight comedy Baggage Claim, which was the number one comedy in America the year it released. And since then, she's helped guide the development and production of 2 more movies, Universal Pictures' Almost Christmas, which for 3 weeks remained the number one comedy in America, and just this month, the Netflix original film El Camino Christmas. She's currently in development for an ABC comedy, White Dave, based on her husband's childhood and produced by LeBron James and Gabrielle Union. Listen into my talk with mentor, mom, mega producer, my sister friend, the multi-passionate Lyn Talbert. So I am here with my girl, Lyn Talbert. Welcome, Lyn.
Thank you, Patrice. I'm happy to be here.
I am so happy that we got a chance to do this.
Me too.
First of all, like most of the women that I really like, my husband introduced us.
So true. They know us, don't they?
It's like so weird. I feel like I used to put him on play dates and then he turned around and started to be the catalyst for my play dates. But Lyn and I met because our husbands, who are both in entertainment, met first.
Yes.
I don't even remember how, but they really like each other.
Yes, they do. Yes,
and
they do.
Very fond of each other and thought that just maybe we would end up liking each other too. And they were right.
Yes, they were.
Yes. So thank you so much for saying yes and being on the Redefining Wealth podcast. Girl, so first of all, I knew you were beautiful. I knew you had an incredibly kind spirit the first time I met you.
Thank you.
I knew after you invited us to Thanksgiving dinner last year.
Which I'm recovering from right now.
I'm sure. I hate you couldn't be there, but we were in your hometown. We were in Las Vegas.
I love that.
For Miss Universe. So that's why we couldn't come hang out with the Talberts for Thanksgiving. But when we met your family and your friends at Thanksgiving dinner last year, I always think that's such a great, representation of who we are.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's like you'll be known by the fruit you bear. And your family was just incredible. Everyone was so kind, such a great spirit there. And so I'm so glad that we're getting to know each other better.
Me too.
But girl, let me tell you. So you sent over your bio and I just had my chin on the floor the whole time I was reading. I'm like, now, wait a minute. How is she so calm? How is she so cool? How is she so collected? And I know all of us have a little bit of crazy, Lyn. So I know you got a little bit of crazy.
Oh, yes. I got a lot of crazy. A lot of crazy.
But you are so multi-passionate, which I really admire because I always feel like I'm one of those people Like, I know one thing, Lyn, I know like money and business,
Yes.
like
Yes.
I kind of sprinkle some other stuff in there, but you're so incredibly talented. So how did you get here?
Thank
Tell us a
you
little
so
story.
much. I know when I look at that, start making a list of things, I start to feel really old, but
Well, you don't look it though.
thank you. I would have to say I got here out of necessity first. My husband and I met when I was a senior in college, and it was a very fast courtship. We met 3 months later, we were engaged. The next year, we got married. I got married and graduated the same summer. So it was a very quick, fast romance. We just knew, which was, shocking to me and amazing. But at the same time, when you're introduced into someone's life, you see what you can bring to the table, what you can add, how you can make things better because now you're one. And that's what happened. David was doing plays before we met, and there were some things that I felt that I wanted to see and changes that I wanted to make and to just make things better for our audience and for the people that come to see the work. And it's always been very important to me to represent things in a positive way. My parents always taught me to make things better than what people expect. And so that's always been a mission of mine. I always want people to feel like they're getting more than what they came for. And just applying that to David and my business now. So it came out of just wanting to bring more to what was being done already. And I was always very artistic and in theater and creative aspects throughout my whole life, and always had a passion for things creative. And so just bringing that to the table, and here we are.
Girl, well, wait a minute. You said people, when you come into a relationship, you're supposed to want to add to that person and make them better. Girl, not everyone does that, Lyn. Can we be real?
That's true. That is
Not
true.
everybody comes to the table. My granny used to say, come to the table with more than big eyes and an appetite.
Okay.
You need to come.
Yes.
You need to come and add a little something to it. And so that's what you did with David.
Yes.
That's awesome. But so how did you find your purpose in the midst of all of this, though? Because he already kind of had his thing going on. Yes. Was it just like a natural tie-in, or did you have to, kind of evolve into that?
I definitely had to evolve. I mean, I was very young. I couldn't even rent a car to drive the cast around. So, I'd have someone come with me to the airport because you had to be 25 to rent a car. And so that was very humbling as you're trying to make big moves. But I would have to say later on, I found my passion. And I think it was just being young, and it's like the world is your oyster when you're young. And I believe people should take advantage of all of that. Everything is new. Everything is Cinderella-like, that glass slipper and the Prince Charming and all of that. And I was glad to have that because I think it's good to go into something with a positive attitude and learn from mistakes or downfalls or negative energy and all of that. I just went into it to learn from that. And I had to deal with a lot of that. And my feelings were hurt oftentimes, but I could turn it around a lot. And it just allowed me to learn people even more and to be more conscious and aware of the moves that I was making. I would have to say it all came out of necessity at first. And I wasn't really going into it necessarily like this is my purpose. I was going into it to say, I want this to be the best it can be. If this is my name on it, and this is the name that I'm representing, this has to represent all things good and amazing. And that's really how it started. And then later on down the line, I started finding my passion in the things that made me happy and made me tingle and really put me there. And I learned that there were various things that did that. And I learned that I didn't have to be put in a box and only do one thing. And I could do many things because I think as women, that's what we do. We multitask. We have to fill in a lot of areas when there are gaps. And so that's what it was.
I love that you said that. This week we put out a video about how I found my purpose. And one of the things that I said that I think stops people is wanting to know what the entire thing is going to look like.
Yes.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you don't know what everything is going to look like, but you have to be willing to just take the next best step.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And just do the best that you can with what you're given, but put in your time, do your research, make it better. Because none of us are really reinventing the wheel. Someone has done it out there, and you have to do your research and find out how they did it, who was successful at it, and how can you add that to what you're doing. I always find that very important with people that we're mentoring or people that are coming up in our plays and our films and TV, that there are things that you should absolutely know because you did your research, because you put in your time. When you're going to meet with someone, you do your research on that person so that you're aware of what not only questions that you can ask, but what you can possibly learn and bring to the table.
That's one of my biggest pet peeves is when people reach out to me for mentorship. And, if it's possible to have a conversation, they'll sit there and be like, so tell me about yourself. Wait a minute.
Right. Like, don't you already know?
Like, why did you reach out to me if you didn't know anything about me? You should have somewhere to start from in this conversation. Like, it should not be me going over my bio with you.
Exactly. And that is a huge point, because that happens a lot when we're doing workshops or mentoring, is that people come in, it's like, so how did you get started? I was like, okay, that is on the website, or you can just, I guess, Wikipedia that or something. And it's just like, you don't want to start there. You want to start much more in depth, so that you can get much more out of the conversation. You have to get past the surface questions and you have to go in deep, because a lot of times you only got a little bit of time to make that impression. And when you come in knowing certain things and talking about how certain things touched you that we've done and various things like that, it makes us say, okay, you've watched a few, you've read a few things and done your research. Let's see what else we can learn.
Do you have any mentors currently?
I do not. My mom is my go-to person, and my dad was as well before he's suffering with dementia. But my dad and I were extremely close, and my mom and I are extremely close. And they are the ones that have taught me so much and are there for me now, just rooting me on and giving me strong, helpful advice. Just, I swear, I'm so blessed in that regard with my family.
Yeah.
I do look to a lot of people that are successful in the industry, and I guess I'm kind of mentored by happenstance.
Yeah.
Because I'm inspired by their stories, and I'm inspired by the great things that they're doing. So I feel like I don't necessarily, even though I would love to do that, it just hasn't necessarily happened. But I feel like there's so much out there for me to be inspired by and for me to learn from and make changes from. I could be watching QVC and the person selling their products or whatever is telling their story, and I'm getting something out of it. I just love that. I really look to being inspired every day and looking to things and seeing what I can get out of stuff, all the way down to a joke that my son tells me. And it's like, my memory isn't as good, so I do have to take notes in my iPhone, but when I refer back, it's very helpful.
You know what? That's what I believe too, though. Like, I think the other thing is that people get hung up on needing to have a mentor that they can call every other day. It's right. Like most of the people that you really look up to, look, they're busy.
Right.
Like, let's keep it real. Like, they have such full lives, and it would be impossible for them to mentor all of us.
Yes.
But every day they're putting out things. If it's a quote on their social media, or if it's a book that shares something about their life, or an interview on YouTube. Oprah's my mentor. She don't know it.
That's exactly what I'm saying. You've touched me, even though you don't even know it.
Right. Right. I think that there's inspiration everywhere, including our children.
Yes.
Yeah, like absolutely. So you mentioned inspiration, and you, on top of everything else that you're doing, I'm trying to understand. First, let me say this. So you're working on what is it with ABC? Is it White Dave?
Yes, that's a television show based on my husband's childhood that is executive produced by LeBron James and Gabrielle Union. That is a television show that we're working on right now based on his childhood, which is hilarious. My husband grew up in a formative years were a predominantly white neighborhood. And then his mom got married and said, we're moving. And they moved to the hood. So it was White Dave. It's the reverse of the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Like imagine Carlton going to Philadelphia.
Oh my gosh. I did not even realize that's what the premise was, but I just know that if it has anything to do with David's real life,
Exactly.
he's just so silly.
He is hilarious.
He's crazy.
He's crazy. I mean, he's living the dream for real, but he just really he used to take himself very seriously because, our men are working very hard and they have something to prove, when they're in this business, and it's important for them to show what they can bring to the table. And I get so tickled because he just loves to tell jokes. He's a frustrated comedian. I feel like we both are both frustrated comedians, and we try to insert our jokes in everything that we do. So it's going to be a lot of fun.
That it sounds like a lot of fun. So you have that going on. Yes. And then this month you just released a Netflix original.
Yes, it just came out. It's available on Netflix. It's called El Camino Christmas. And it was just an amazing opportunity. Our friend Ted Melfi, who wrote and directed Hidden Figures, wrote this project about 10 years ago. It was a Go movie, and my husband ran into him at Netflix and he was like, yo, DT, what are you doing here? He's like, oh, just taking a meeting. He's like, what are you doing here? He's like, well, I got this Go movie, but I don't have a director. And he's like, holy crap, we just found our director. Hey, you're going to love this project. I'm going to send it to you. You're going to do it. It's a Go movie. Literally 5 weeks later, we're in production.
Wow. That is the power, though, we call it here at Redefining Wealth, the people pillar, and it's about creating relationships that matter.
Yes.
And one of the things that we talk about, Lyn, is the fact that so many people are busy chasing money when really, if you just did great work
yes,
and treated people well,
yes,
you really don't have to do, not that you don't have to show up and do the work and be in excellence, but so many things happen or so many opportunities are attracted simply by building great relationships.
That is so true. And I'm a firm believer in that. Ever since I was young, it was about sending the thank you cards, staying in touch with people. Now it's so easy with email and text and this and just checking in and all of that. And that's important. And it makes a huge impression on people. You don't even realize just that annual Christmas card. You know what I mean? David and I would always say there's never anything wrong with the show. Like we could put a show together, no problem, and it's going to be a great show. It's all the other things that come into play that you have to make sure are on point. It's about being able to deliver that show to the right person or the right production company. It's about, like you said, building those relationships where people know what you're doing and know what it means to you and know that you can deliver and know that they can put their name on it as well and be proud of it. And also easy to work with.
Girl, yes.
Be easy. That is so important. Like to this day, I'm never too high up there to do anything. I have done people's makeup. I have done wardrobe. I have done set decorating. I have picked up people. I have cleaned dressing rooms, and I will continue to do it because again, it's a representation of me, and it shows the people that I work with and the people that I mentor that you can do it too. You're never too big to do anything. Now, does that mean you don't have people in place that take care of what needs to be taken care of? No, it doesn't mean that. But sometimes in life, things can slip through the cracks and you want to make sure stuff is okay. And if you could just sit there and clean up a dressing room for someone walking in 5 minutes later, instead of calling someone that will take 5 minutes to come over there, just do it and move on.
Right. And that's what makes the difference. It's really sad to me when you run into people, and I know we both do, just considering the business and all that stuff. Like you run into people who just get to this level in their minds,
right?
First and foremost, in their minds, that they're just too good to do the little things, or they're too good to speak to certain people, or they're too good for this, too good for that. Like I tell people when I'm out speaking all the time, I want to be the easiest person you've ever worked with.
Yes.
I am so not extra. And it doesn't mean that I don't have standards or I don't like things a particular way, but it is not the end of the world. Like if I came here to speak or do your talk show or do whatever, I'm going to get in, be the best that I can be, deliver what I said I could deliver, and I'm going to go on home.
Exactly.
All this other stuff with sorting M&Ms is ridiculous.
You don't want your green M&Ms, Patrice?
Girl, if anything, it would be pink, but
okay,
no.
there we go.
So in the midst of doing all these things, you're a wife, you're a mom, you're executive producing plays and films and television and all this stuff. And the other day when we went to lunch, so this is how we even got to Lyn being on the podcast. I'm gonna have to tell him the story.
Yes.
So we decide finally, like after playing text tag, because we both are those type of people who think you hit send after you type your response, and then days later you're like, wait a minute, did I ever hit submit, send, whatever? So we finally get to lunch at this great Thai restaurant, and we're talking. And Lyn shares with me, this blew my mind, and this is going to be so simple to some people, but to this day, I'm still like, I got to get it together. That you take a bath every day.
Yes, I do.
But how? How is it possible?
It is the impossible, but I really make it work. Like at least 90% of the time I get it in. It may be extremely late at night, but that is my time for me. That sitting in the tub, if I choose to have my iPad on and catch up on some reality TV or listen to an audio book or whatever, and my husband and my son know when that do not disturb sign is on the door, do not come in. And it's like when you are sitting in water, you are forced to relax. Just like when you step into a jacuzzi or anything warm, even if it's a warm coat, you are forced to just woosah. And I've done that since I was a little girl. Like even when my dad actually turned me on to it, he was like, just go take a bath and relax. And so I was taking baths all the time as a little girl. And when I went away to boarding school for my high school years, there were no bathtubs. There were only showers. And my dad actually rented a hotel around the corner and surprised me and said, Lyn, I got you a room down there. Your faculty advisor is going to take you and you can go take a bath there. Like that's how important a bath was for me that he did that. I was so grateful. That was like the best gift ever. But so yes, I have my jams and jellies and bath bombs and bath salts, you name it, it is around that tub. I have tried it all. And I've encouraged so many people to do the same, especially a lot of men. I won't name names because they don't want to be known as taking a bath while they're on their cell phone, but they do it. And I'm like, you're working out like crazy. And this is what I'm telling you will help you with your muscles and making you feel better and soothing your aches and pains. I say, you just got to sit in there and relax. The Epsom salts, the bubble bath. I'm like, it's fantastic. And you have to do it. You have to do it.
Okay. But so this whole bath thing was about taking a break and like just being able to unwind. And then you turned it into a business.
Yes. Okay.
So taking a break to last Christmas, I'm giving out Lynspiration. What was it? Body butter?
Yeah. Body souffle cream.
Body souffle cream to all the female guests at my annual holiday brunch, Christmas brunch. And yeah, I ended up getting all this cream. I think you gave me one, or I got one as a tester, and I was like, I have to give this to everybody. Aww. So we had cousins and aunts and people at our house fighting over the last few jars because I clearly didn't plan appropriately. I think I just bought like 20 or something and just thought that would be good. But like, how did you end up, see, this is what I'm talking about, multi-passionate. You're soaking in the tub, you're taking a bath, you're supposed to be taking a break, unwinding. Next thing you know, a business is born. So now in addition to all that other stuff, here we are. So tell us about Lynspiration.
Well, Lynspiration was birthed out of taking baths, inspiring your skin. I have I'm a product junkie, period. From makeup to body care to face care, all of that. And oftentimes, because I've battled certain skin conditions like acne, or when I'm on certain medications, it dries out my skin. So I've kind of had to mix my own little potions to battle whatever ailments I have. And from that, I was like, you know what? I need to develop this. I need to create this. These are things that I love. And I'm always having to tweak them to fit my own personal needs, that I need to do this myself. And so with Almost Christmas, our film that came out last Christmas, I was talking to someone in marketing, and I told her, I'm coming out with this line. She says, Lyn, can you do one for the movie? And I said, yes, I can. And so it came from that. That was the first product, Almost Christmas body souffle cream, and it smelled like Christmas, and put it in a little package. It looks like a little present. And that's how the first product started. From that, I was like, I'm going to create a bath and body collection. And that's how this new collection came. I did 2 scents, floral and a fruity, bloom and fruitful. And it has everything that you would need to have that perfect bath. It has an amazing body wash with jojoba beads. It has a bath balm. It has a do not disturb sign. It has
That's what I love.
Yes, those hand mitts, because I live by hand mitts. I don't do washcloths. I love the hand mitts with the exfoliation, so you can get in all the cracks and crevices. And then it has the body souffle cream as well. And so if you're a fruity girl, you would get the fruitful. If you're a floral girl, you'd get the bloom. And that's what it came from. And I really put my heart into this because it's something that I would use. And I'm picky when it comes to my products. And I'll go all the way from Neiman's down to Walmart, CVS. It doesn't matter. If it's something that I love, I mix all of that in. That's really what it is. The elements that we battle with just our hard work, us as women working hard, being moms, working moms, and taking care of a home and all of that. I think you need at least that 45 minutes to sit in your bath and relax and inspire your skin and inspire yourself.
But wait a minute. And it's a 45-minute bath? I'm doomed.
I'm saying at least, Patrice, from beginning to end. I'll even give you the time to start the bath water, to have your bubble bath going in there, get in, and then soak for a little while and then get out. I'll give you the 45 minutes, okay? I'll shorten it.
My God. Seriously, I really thought I was doing something with like a bath maybe twice a week if I was really intentional.
Yeah.
When you said every day, I was every day. Wow.
And even when I go out of town, I always call, make sure the rooms have tubs. And I'll rinse the tub down and I'll be in that one too, because it don't matter. It's like, I'm serious about that because it's just the running around and the hustle and bustle. And I just need to center myself. And that's the only way I'm really forced to do it. Because even when you're watching television or you're on the phone or this and that, your mind is still going and racing, and and you have not shut down. And that forces me to shut down. You're not going to take a phone in the tub. I'll have my iPad there from a distance, like to watch something sometimes or listen to an audiobook. But it forces you to take those few minutes and really think about your day next day, or think about nothing.
Mm-hmm. What did bloom and fruitful stand for?
Bloom, well, to me, it's all about inspiration. And with having my son and, trying to have another child as well, that's kind of where that came out of, just being fruitful and watching my son bloom and the stages that he goes through and all of that. But it just fit because I love to mix floral scents and fruity scents. I love to layer scents. And I wanted to make sure that these scents are not only layerable, but if you're only a fruity girl, you got your fruitful. And if you're only a floral girl, you have your bloom. But with those names, it's making you think about the things you want to build in your life, or the things you want to be fruitful in your life.
I love that.
Thank you.
I think the thing that I love most, not this one yet, but I've had the body souffle. I had the Almost Christmas, and I know that it's amazing. But I think that what I love most is that you're putting this do not disturb sign in there. Cause that is so intentional. Like, I don't know like how Elias is at this age. How old is Elias?
He's 4.
He's 4.
Yes.
So around that time, Reagan still would come into the bathroom no matter what,
Yep.
like ignore the door being closed, did not care. You know, to this day, I have to literally lock the door in order for her to just give me 50 feet, man. Like, I need some space, right? She wants to be right next to me, showing me her phone or telling me a silly joke, which I love her jokes, but still, like all the time. And so I really like the idea of the do not disturb sign. Listeners, you have to like comment or and tell me in social media or something if you've ever used this or if you plan on using it, because I never had thought of that. Like a do not disturb sign. Really, I have one on my office door, right?
Yes.
So they know when I'm recording, you know, recording in progress or mom is doing an interview or whatever. And so they've all learned to respect that. But what you're really teaching me today, Lyn, is that I haven't taught them to respect my me time.
Yes.
I haven't given it the same level of intentionality at all.
Right. And you have to do that. You have to apply those same things to your everyday life. And just like scheduling out, you put that in your book just like you do any other appointment, 45-minute bath. That reminder is going to pop up on your phone and you get going. Get at it. Do have 2 sides on the do not disturb sign. And it says, you know, do not disturb taking a moment of inspiration. But if maybe you want your husband to join you, it says, come on in, join me for a moment of inspiration. You know, so it can go both ways.
That by himself. He will swear that it was on the come on in side, knowing it was not.
He'll flip it.
Well, I think it's incredible. So where do you see like both of these things going? Like you have your entertainment career and now you have this bath and body line that you're growing. So how do you do it all?
You know what? I am taking one day at a time. I love this line so much and I want so much for it to be successful. I grew up watching Home Shopping with my mom. My mom was always getting packages. I feel like she was one of the original QVC HSN purchasers, you know? So I would love to. That was my dream job, actually, before even getting in this business, was to be a QVC representative where you're on there selling products and stuff like that. And so, you know,
with the close up on your hands.
Yes. And trying out everything. And you just don't stop talking. There's no pause. You know, it's just so fun to me. But like I'm sitting down at Christmas in July. That's how I get all my Christmas decorations and various things. So I am a diehard Home Shopping Network person because I'm so busy and I have to be able to get the things that I need for my home and my family without having to be in the stores for hours and hours. So that's that. But I would love to see it grow from the things that I love and the things that I use every day, from having to do red carpets and go on stage to just going to pick up my son from school. You know, my son he'll say to me, "Can you put on some lipstick?" on the way to school. I said, "Oh no, I've created a monster," you know, or he'll say, "Can you mix these?" It's kind of funny because he really pays attention and he'll say, "Can you mix these 2 together? Can you put on something colorful?" So he's very funny and he loves bath bombs. So I'm like, really, dude? So he's going to be that guy. You know, he's already over 4 feet tall and he's only 4. So he's going to be about 6'8", taking a bath with mom's bath bombs.
Oh, wow. He's over 4 feet tall.
Yeah, at 4 years old.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, when I met him last year, I could have sworn he was a smooth 6.
Okay.
I was like, wait, he's 3? Wait a minute.
3 years old.
How? But he's talking.
Oh, yes.
Like very, very, very well.
Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, wow. So you're just going to keep taking it one day at a time. That's all we can do.
Yes, that's what I'm going to do. Because, you know, I have commitments, but like I said, each thing I want to make sure it's exactly where I wanted it to be quality wise. And I'm so proud of how everything came out. And I can't wait for you to see it. The packaging is beautiful and people will be proud to give it as gifts. And I have a limited collection that I'll have available for the holidays. So you can give it as Christmas gifts, and people can go on the site and sign up to find out, or on my Instagram to find out exactly when.
What is your site?
My site is mylinspiration.com. My Instagram is at Lyn Talbert.
Okay, I'll make sure I'll link to that in the show notes.
Perfect.
And guess what, you guys?
Yes.
Lyn has agreed to do a giveaway for the Redefining Wealth podcast listeners. So make sure you head to patricewashington.com/listen, because I'm going to put all of the details there if you want to win
Linspiration gift box. So not only am I going to give the gift box away, Fruitful and Bloom, but I'm also going to put some DVDs in there from our plays, and I'll put Almost Christmas in there. So it's going to be a nice little gift. You can keep it for yourself, or you can split it up and give it away as gifts if you want to. So
look, now that's how you save on Christmas.
Yes.
Just dig that thing on up.
Yes. Yes.
You keep the Bath and Body stuff for you, and then just give a little DVD collection.
There you go.
No, it's all going to be amazing. You can actually watch some of the movies while you're soaking in the tub and stuff. Huh?
Exactly.
So I actually have some other goodies, Lyn, that I'm going to add to it. So
perfect.
I will put all of that info in the show notes, patricewashington.com. Now, Lyn, before I let you go, we do what we call rapid wisdom questions. So I'm going to ask you a few questions and just tell us the first thing that comes to mind, okay? All right. How do you define success?
I would say family, that family unit, support, family, love, support, because if you have all of that, you can do anything.
Oh, that's so true. Okay. How do you define wealth in 3 words or less?
I would have to say true relationships, real relationships, legacy. I have to bring money in there because you have to sustain yourself financially to continue to pursue your passions. You have to be smart. For us, it's show business, but it's the business of show. I feel that it's very important to have your money matters taken care of, and not saying that you have to have a gazillion dollars, but there's nothing wrong with if you do, whatever you choose to spend your money on. But you want to make sure that you're handling your finances properly, your insurances, your health insurance, your life insurance, like all these things are important. You not only have to look for today, but you have to look for the future, especially if you have children.
Absolutely. Yep. What's one book that has redefined how you see wealth?
I would have to say Susie Orman. I read a book I can't think of the particular name of this book, but it was really stressing retirement. And I had my son later in life. My husband and I were married 15 years before we had Elias. And it's really important that I don't want him to have to worry about taking care of me being older. And so retirement for us is extremely important so that he can do the things that he needs to do and pursue his goals and dreams without worrying about 2 old parents, and so the way that it was explained in the book was to make sure that your retirement is straight and look at what schools that your children want to go to, because at the end of the day, your children will reach a high earning potential in their early 20s. And if you spend your retirement money on their schooling and they have to take care of you, it's not helpful. It's better for them, even though, we plan on being able to take care of school, but God forbid anything happen, it's better for them to make sure that their education is straight and be responsible for it than to have to take care of you in your old age.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I totally agree. One of the things people always say is that you can borrow for college, you can't borrow for retirement.
Thank you. Very good point.
There's no loans for retirement.
No, not at all.
And here's the last one. You're going to fill in the blank. And it goes, my name is blank. And for me, the truth about wealth is blank.
Okay. My name is Lyn. And the truth for me about wealth is If you do good work, it will come. And when you get it, take care of it.
Come on, girl. That is so good. I love that. I love that. That was perfect. So I appreciate you so
Thank you,
much.
Patrice.
And I look forward to getting to know you even more and learning more about you and all the great things that you're up to. And girl, I'm going to just be over here trying to take a daily bath.
Please do. And I so appreciate you reaching out and being so kind, you and your husband, to both my husband and I. And it means a lot to me.
Yes, ma'am. We're going to keep it going. All right. Thanks, Lyn.
Thank you.
Didn't you just love that? The truth about wealth is if you do good work, wealth will come. And then when it does, you just have to take care of it. I just love that. I love the Talberts so much. All three of them, Lyn, David, and Elias, are amazing. So make sure when you hear their names out there, you go and support their work. We have to support good folks doing great things. And like I said before, if you are multi-passionate and you are afraid that you can't do more than one thing and be successful, I really do hope that Lyn serves as inspiration for you. It's funny to say Lyn and inspiration because it's her company, Lynspiration, too. But I hope that she serves as inspiration seriously for you. So check out the episode, patricewashington.com/listen. You'll get links to everything that I can think of linking about Lyn to make sure that you can find her out there in social media. Make sure you connect with me in social media. I love getting your screenshots of you listening to the podcast. I love your feedback. I love your comments. Thank you so much for the reviews. I read each and every one. I try to reply to each and every comment. I'm at Seek Wisdom PCW on Instagram, on Facebook, on Twitter, and wherever you are keeping up with the show, make sure you take 2 seconds and drop a little note. It really makes the difference between someone taking a chance on listening and scooting on by to the next thing. So please don't keep us as your best kept secret. Please share with everyone you know who you think is ready to redefine wealth in their lives. And until next time, I want you to go live your life's purpose, find fulfillment, and earn more without ever chasing money. Talk to you later.